Have you ever wondered why so many really game-changing AI projects get stuck in the lab and just never see the light of day? It's a huge problem. The truth is, moving from a brilliant idea to a reliable, production-ready system is a massive challenge. So today, we're going to dive into the solution, a discipline called MLOps.
And the stakes here, they could not be higher. Just look at this number. Back in 2022, Gartner estimated that AI would create nearly $4 trillion in business value. The potential is absolutely staggering, and it touches pretty much every industry you can think of.
So that brings us to the big question, right? If the prize is that big, what's going wrong? Why is there this massive gap between the incredible promise of AI and the pretty difficult reality of actually getting it to work out in the real world? Okay, let's get into it. The core problem is that building and deploying machine learning isn't like your standard software development. It's this chaotic mix of data and code and models. And for a long time, there just haven't been clear rules or standards to manage it all. And this leaves teams stuck in this cycle of what feels like endless science experiments that never graduate.
And believe me, getting this wrong has serious consequences. This right here is a real-world example of a company that violated data privacy rules. The result? A multi-million-dollar fine, and in order to completely destroy all the models they had painstakingly built. The risks, we're talking technical, financial, and regulatory, are very, very real.
So how do we fix this? How do we bring some order to all that chaos? Well, this is exactly where MLOps comes in. It is the framework designed to professionalize the entire machine learning lifecycle.
Now, the formal definition is that MLOps is a set of processes and automations that help us manage all the moving parts, the models, the data, the code. But here's what really matters, the goal. It's all about creating stable, efficient, and reliable ML systems that actually deliver value over the long term.
A really simple way to think about it is with this little equation. A lot of us are probably familiar with DevOps, right? The thing that automates how we build and release software. Well, MLOps borrows those ideas and then adds two more specializations. You've got ModelOps, which focuses on governing the life cycle of the AI models, and you've got DataOps, which focuses on automating the data pipelines that feed those models. Put them all together, and you've got the complete MLOps package.
But ModOps isn't just about fancy tools and automation. At its heart, it's a human process. It's really a team sport that requires a ton of collaboration across a whole range of different roles. So let's meet the players. So this whole process involves several key people. First, you have your data engineers. They build the pipelines that provide clean, reliable data. Then they pass the baton to the data scientists, who explore that data and build the actual models. From there, the ML engineers take over, and they focus on the complex task of deploying and maintaining those models in a live environment. And kind of overseeing it all, you have your business stakeholders, who define what success even looks like, and the data governance officers, who make sure the whole process is secure, compliant, and responsible. And together, this team manages a continuous loop. It all kicks off with the data, getting it ready, exploring it, and engineering the features the model's going to learn from. That leads you right into the core modeling cycle. You train a model, you validate its performance, and then you deploy it. But, and this is key, it doesn't stop there. The final critical step is constant monitoring, which then feeds insights right back to the beginning of the cycle, making sure the system actually improves over time. Now, to manage this whole process safely, you can't just build things on your laptop and push them directly out to live users. That's a recipe for disaster. You need a structured path with controlled environments to guarantee quality and stability. And that path usually involves three key stages. First up is the dev environment. Think of this as the sandbox, the place for prototyping and experimentation, where it's okay to break things. Next is staging, which is basically a mirror of production, where you do all your serious pre-launch testing. And finally, you have prod, the live business-critical environment where quality is everything and access is super tightly controlled. Okay, so that sets up the next logical question, right? We have these separate environments, but what's the best way to actually promote our work from dev through staging and finally into production without causing chaos?
Well, there are two main ways to do this. The first is called deploy models. That's where you train a model in dev, and then you push that finished file, the trained model itself, through the stages. It's simpler, but it's less flexible. The second, deploy code, is where you promote the code that trains the model, and then you retrain it fresh in each new environment. Now, this is a bit more complex, but it is way more robust because it guarantees reproducibility. Think about it. The customer data you have in production today might be different from what you had in dev last week. Retraining makes sure your model is always based on the most current, relevant data possible. So the bottom line is that while both patterns have their place, the deploy code approach is really the recommended default for most modern machine learning systems. It gives you the engineering rigor you need for real automation and scalability. So now that we have the process down, let's talk about the mindset. Because to make all of this work, it really helps to have some guiding principles that inform every single decision you make along the way. There are 4 really key principles here. First, always connect your work to a clear business goal. Don't just build cool models for the sake of technology. Second, be data-centric. Always remember, your model is only ever as good as your data, so quality is everything. Third, build your systems in a modular way. This just makes them way easier to test, update, and maintain over time. And finally, let your process define what you automate. Don't just chase shiny new tools. Automate the parts of your workflow that are truly repeatable and will actually give you the most value. When you put all of this together, the people, the process, the principles, MLOps achieves something really profound. It takes machine learning out of this realm of a one-off, manual science experiment and transforms it into a predictable, scalable, and truly reliable engineering discipline. And that leaves us with a final thought. As AI becomes more and more woven into the fabric of our daily lives, the key question isn't just about making it more powerful. It's about making it trustworthy. MLOps is the discipline that gives us the structure to ensure our AI systems are not just smart, but also predictable, compliant, and ultimately reliable.